Welcome everybody. What I am going to talk about today is day trading. We are going to talk about the live trading room I run. So trade daily, earn daily. We're going to talk about the sort of setups I trade, why I day trade, how I day trade, and how much money you can expect to make. And we'll go to the live charts as well. It's been a really interesting day, a really good day to be a day trader. Most days are. You get the occasional chop. Days like Fed days I always avoid. But on the whole, these markets are very reliable, very technical. And as long as you have a system, then you can make a profit. By all means, ask any questions at any stage. If I don't answer them straight away, I will come back to them. All right, I'm currently sitting in a couple of trades and I'll talk about those trades as we go along. But the idea is, I'm just going to briefly show you some examples of what the system is about, and I'm going to describe how the system works and what you can expect if you want to come into our trading room. We operate a trading room 5 days a week. So I'll talk to you about that and talk about what the trades we are looking at the moment. So let's talk about the Dow initially. And you can see the Dow opened really high today. That was the opening bar. It's a 10-minute chart. So the Dow had already made a decent move in, even before the market had opened. So if that's wave 1 and that's wave 2, I want to get in on wave 3, and hopefully wave 3 at the moment doesn't look that great, but I'll stay in the trade. Hopefully trade 3 will take us back up to the high and then potentially beyond if this all works out. So what I don't do in these markets is I don't chase the market. I do not chase the price. I'll wait for a pullback. So if I see a market that's opened up so high, I won't buy it. And I'll wait for that second wave move into support. And then I will take it from there and hopefully trade it to the upside. I've done the same in oil as well. Talk to you about that in a moment. So today is a market that I would refer to as gap and go. So there are 4 key setups in the trading room that we trade. Today was gap and go. That's where you open up some distance away from where the market closed on the previous day. So you're trading pullbacks in towards the gap, not on the gap, towards the gap. And then I'm looking to see if that can get back up to the highs and beyond. So this is what we're looking at in the Dow at the moment. If you this is my Dow trade. So I took the trade here. And this actually shows this is a live account. That little blue line there is my entry. So I bought at 35,100. You can see at the time I took this screenshot, it's 196. So I'm 94.5 pips up at that point. So there is the wave 1, there's the pullback. Now here's the gap. The gap was 34,961. So, and then I've taken a very specific pullback to that gap. And that is something that we measure in the trading room, in the gap and go system. So it's part of the system, and then we trade it, and then you can see my target up there. My target is 35,500. At the moment we're flapping around, still pulling back at the moment, but yeah, that is what I'm looking at there. So it's a system. So the whole point of the trading room, the whole point of my day trading is threefold. I want to do 3 things. From day trading, I want income, daily income. The second point is I want to hedge where we are seeing decent pullbacks. So I'm an investor. I'm a day trader and an investor. I use my time as a day trader to not just make income, but to hedge as well. So if I've got long positions in a number of stocks and it's a day when the markets are pulling back, I can sell indices and make up and capitalize on that particular down day, so that I'm not missing out on these pullbacks in my investments. The third and final reason why I day trade is I micromanage my investments. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, if I want to trade, I've not prepared this, but let's go to the charts anyway. If I want to trade a stock like Barclays, I'm stalking Barclays at the moment. We'll come back to day trading in a minute. What I would do with Barclays is I would stalk it, and I'm looking for a pullback into this 142. Obviously this market is closed now, but what I want to do is I want this market to pull back and potentially come out of this area closer to the 150 mark, and then if it closes up, I'll hold it, and on subsequent pullbacks I will buy. So this is where I'm using a 2-hour time frame to try and gauge an entry in a trade such as Barclays. If we go back to the Dow a second, back to that 10-minute chart, pulling right back. Okay, I'm actually I've been scaling in and out of this. At the moment, I'm all out because we're breaking support now. So I've got part of this push up here, taken half my trade off, and my second half has just been stopped out. So I've got the bulk of that move from 100 up to 250, 240. I've got the bulk of that 140 pip move, and now we're pulling right back on ourselves. Okay, let's look at my other entry. This is my entry in the oil. So in the oil, at the point in which I took this screenshot today, I had 91.5 pips profit on this. So you can see from the 2 live trades, I'm showing live accounts with 200 pips profit today. This, I bought oil at 99.70. I've scaled in on these trades, and I've scaled out. So as this market waves around, instead of sitting here, because I'm at my screens, I come in and out on these fixed pivot points that I've identified. But ultimately, I want to finish the day up at 280. So my target, so my entry was of my core position is 99.70. That's my entry, and my target is 102.80, and that's what I've got up there. All right, so I'm looking for 310 pips in the oil. At the moment, my Dow Trade is not working fully. That's pulled back a little deeper than I expected. So I've got about 150 pips on the Dow. So if I've got 150 pips in the Dow and 310 pips in the oil, I'm up 460 pips today. I've got lots of screenshots of this week's trades. If I've got time, I'll show you them. So the other setups I've got in my toolbox is the following. So on a day like today, we use the gap and go setup because the markets have opened up so high. We have on a normal day where the markets do not qualify for gap and go, we trade the open range. So let me see, let's have a look at yesterday's open range. No, that was choppy actually. I'll do it anyway. Here's the open range yesterday on a 10-minute chart. I don't trade a 10-minute chart on the open range, but what you will note is we fell out of the range in the first 30 minutes. So we had lower highs. We already had a lot of selling into the open anyway. Before, oh, come on, try to get this tool. That's it, got it. So we had lower highs, we broke support, we pulled back, but into the last couple of hours, we were back inside the range. So this, to me, is this 700 level here is a buy zone. And if you held that into the close, you will note that we actually went back to the pre-open highs. So in the system, if you hold the open range floor, you buy, and then you can use the pre-open resistance as a target. So if you did that yesterday and avoided all this mess, all this noise, you would have bought at about you'd have bought at about 680, 690. And so you entered at 690 late in the day, and then you would have got out at that high, which is just under the 35,000 mark. So I think it's about, so that's your entry. So your target would have been, I think it's about 950. So yesterday, late in the session, we could have shorted into the open, but late into the session, with 2 hours to go, you could have potentially done about 250 pips, 260 pips, had you used the system and pick that up. Now, the whole point of what I do in my training room is that you don't necessarily need to be able to pick these levels, because I'm trading in front of the room, and I am picking these levels for you. Now, these lows were actually a crucial level in the intra-week measurements we do. The whole system is based on a correlation between the previous day's trading. So on Monday, I look at the correlation between what happened on Friday. So if I pull back from this now, you can see what happened on the Friday, and you can see, you can get an idea of why the markets did this on the Monday. So we had this big 1, 2, 3 wave move on the Friday, and then at the open we had a 1, 2, 3 wave correction into support. You don't need to buy a dip like that. You can wait until the last couple of hours trading, and then you could buy a dip. See, this held a bit of like a head and shoulders yesterday. But this held into the last 2 hours, so that was a great trade, very low risk trade to buy at the 680, 690, a stop underneath 670 even. Don't have to have massive stops on these sorts of day trades, and then you get potentially 250 pips into the close. Okay, and that's typically what we do in a day's trading. So the other setups that we've got is on Friday is non-farm payroll, US monthly jobs. Now the setup for monthly jobs is different again. Don't forget, we've only got 4 setups, so we're not trading a lot of, hundreds of different setups. We've only got to know 4 parts of the system. On Friday, what I'll be looking at is the initial direction. So if the initial direction is up, I'll be looking for 50–60% pullback, and then I'll be trading that into the close. So if that's the direction, I'm not in a trade into the data. I'm looking for the pullback, and then I'm going to trade wave 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's what I look for. It's normally about 50–60%. Again, we do this in the trading room, and then we look for that in once we've got the data out. So that's, I've gone through 3 mechanisms with you so far. I've gone through what's called gap and go, which is today. Today is a gap and go day because if we open up more than 100 pips away from the cash close, then that qualifies for gap and go. On Friday, I'm looking for the data momentum setup. And then on a normal day where there's no gap and go, I would look for the open range and then see which way it breaks. All right, the other setup that I'm not going to talk about is primarily because of time, but I don't want to give all my system away. The other setup is an intraday reversal. Now, to qualify for that, you have to open near a reversal point that we specify in the trading room, and then we look to if it's at a bullish reversal point, obviously we buy. If it's at a sell point, then we will sell that. Okay, so that's a very, very quick introduction to the setups. But the whole point is discretionary trading does not work. This system is not perfect. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute this system is perfect. It's not. But it's very high probability. We're looking at probability rates of between 65 and 74%. So that's very high. So if you are able to cut your losses short and hit these specific targets that we've got in the system, you should be looking to bank at least 100 pips. But normally, it just in the opening session, you can see from those charts I showed you earlier, or the screenshots I showed you earlier, I was up a couple hundred pips in the open period. This was taken this screenshot was taken about 10 minutes after the oil opened, and this screenshot was taken about 30 or 40 minutes after the Dow was open. So I'm not seeing my screens for hours on end because I know exactly what entry levels I'm looking for. I post them. In fact, if you look at I'll just grab a screenshot of the post I've done today. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is the oil post and this is the Dow post. We'll just enlarge that so you can see it properly. So you will note from this that once the live trading room is closed, then we revert to this Telegram room. So I was looking at 35,100 in the Dow. I was looking at 98.50, 98.70 in the oil. Okay, so everything I do is in the public domain. Well, there's certainly the trading room public for those people who qualify to come into the room. And then we're trading very specific setups and looking for the same results. So if you want to come in the trading room and join me, what you need to do is book here. I'll give you these links in a minute. The next program is on Saturday, this coming Saturday the 2nd. And so it's 575 to come in the room. Now that includes an intensive program and 4 weeks in the trading room. All right, that's a discounted bundle to get you into the live trading room 5 days a week over 4 weeks and go through the in-depth program itself. so you get a lot for your money. And here is the link to the site that tells you all about the modules in the program. And then this is the link that tells you this is the link for the booking form. And also there's my mobile number. If you want to find me on WhatsApp and ask me any questions, there's my mobile number. Text me, find me on WhatsApp, and then message me. But let's go back to the day trading room. Okay, so let's have a look at where the markets are at the moment. Bear in mind what I've showed you on. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're beginning to pull back into some support. So I am going to take my profits away at the moment and potentially look back at this in the last hour. I don't trade in these doldrums. Once I got some profit in the books, if the trade doesn't continue, I leave it and then I look at the markets in the last hour. I do not start to trade this in what I would call doldrums. In other words, the part of the market where you can see the volume's just dropped off. There's not a lot of fancy indicators on my charts. All I've got is volume. So if the volume's dropped off, you know that, or I know that these markets are not worth chasing because there's not enough traders chasing them to push the price up. And you can see yesterday, the reason I can qualify why I like to trade the last hour, because yesterday in the mid session where the volume dropped off, look what happened into the last couple of hours. The volume picked up. So if that happens over here, if we start to see an increase in volume over here, and this price holds on a pullback, then I will trade in these lower areas and see if I can at least get back to the high and potentially beyond. Any questions? Other markets that are a bit quieter can be, let's have a look at the DAX. We haven't looked at the DAX. Let's look at the German DAX and the Ftse. See what they did today. So the DAX picked up at the open. Got a really nice squeeze pattern here. This is 12 midday, isn't it? So we get a push up at the Euro session down here at 550 area. We could push right the way up to 900. Wow, that's a much better day than the Dow in a way at the moment, because most of the Dow's gone pre-open. So tomorrow, it's still plenty of time with these markets. One of the things with these markets is it's a never-ending buffet. That's why I don't chase the market. If you miss a move one day, the chances are they'll pull back the next day. So you just need to have a system that will help you manage your trade on the next day and be able to pick your spot and use the system, exploit the system, and get the most out of the next move. Let's have a look at the Ftse. I've not looked at the Ftse today, so let's see what that did. Very similar chart. So look at this. This is what's so good about the markets. We've shot up here, and now we are doing what I would call a boomerang. When the markets go too far too fast, they tend to go back to the breakout area. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see 7,500 tomorrow. We're only 75.23 now. So I wouldn't mind betting that's going to come down there tomorrow. And then if the market is happy again, then we can pick up some low prices and potentially go back up to those highs, maybe even beyond. All right. So that's what I do as a day trader. It's about income. On most days, it's about hedging on down days, and it's about micromanaging my investments as well. All right, you've been very quiet, no questions. So if you want to, my voice is running out anyway, and I've forgotten to get myself an extra drink. If you want to find out more, then let me know. There's my contact details. Have a look at the program. Have a read of what's involved in the program, and let me know if you're interested. Let me know if you want more details, and then just trade with us. Trade with us in the trading room, and pick up on some of these setups that you've seen me look at on these screenshots. All right, last call for questions. So it's a nice short presentation. Don't want to bore you with lots of slides. Let's get an update on the charts. Let's go back to the Dow and see if that is pulling back. The trading room is open at 2:20 p.m. every day, and it normally closes about 50 minutes later, and that's 5 days a week. But the Telegram alert system is open 5 days a week. So that covers for when I'm not actually live in the Zoom room. That covers you for any potential trades that I'll alert you to outside. You only get in the trading room if you've been on the program. So you come on the program. It's an intensive program. You learn the system. You get the check sheets. You get a recording of the program so you can go over it again. And then the Monday after you've done the program, you're straight into the live trading room. And then you're in the trading room. The cost of the program covers 4 weeks in the trading room, and then if you want to carry on, it's £95 a month to carry on in the trading room with me live 5 days a week. All right. So, like I said, if you want to ask me any questions, hook up, and let me know. Right, like I said, the system is not perfect. So the pullback did create a move, but it's not sustained. This move is not sustained at all, and these markets are pulling back further. So I've taken off my profits. I've managed my risk. I've made a good daily profit. Not as much as I was hoping for. I was hoping for a push back into 500 on this. But the day's not over. I'll take a look at the last hour and see if we are setting up in the last couple of hours as we did yesterday. Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot for coming along. I will run different sessions on different aspects of day trading, so look out for that. I'll send you links for those as well. So next week it's going to be 6 o'clock, not 5 o'clock, and then I'll try and encourage you to come in the trading room with me on another day. But yeah, it's good fun. It's enjoyable. Yeah, we make decent profits. We make consistent profits. And yeah, I would say to you, if you're going to day trade, don't day trade alone. Join us in the room. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.